God, it feels good to be back in a race suit. Be back here at Jharkhand, the perfect testing ground to put the 2017 RC390 through its paces. Now all of you who have already seen our launch video obviously know everything about this bike, know everything about the updates. And those of you who have missed out, well, just click on the icon above to check it out. Better still, hit the subscribe button so you can be with us right on top of the game. But for now, it's time to test all the ammunition that the RC390 now comes loaded with. So big change is obviously the ride-by-wire throttle, which means now there's no mechanical cable which connects the throttle with the butterfly valves, which in turn control the amount of air going inside the engine. So now the butterfly valves are operated by the ECU using a servo motor after taking in the inputs from the sensors on the throttle, which are closely monitoring all your throttle inputs. Does it work? Yes, because the throttle response has definitely improved. It's a little more urgent now, or more responsive. Also, the fueling I felt is better. It's a little more precise. Throttle response has also become smoother. The only thing I felt was the on-off throttle transitions could have been a little bit better. There's still room for improvement there. In terms of performance, this bike is a good 7 kgs heavier than its predecessor, mainly because of the exhaust. And the actual impact that this will have on the actual performance, we have something special in store for you. But what I can tell you now, based on my first impressions, is the change is small. And that's a good thing, and it's a big relief, because especially when you consider all the benefits which have come because of the new side-mounted exhaust, mainly in terms of cornering clearance. Because if you remember, the old RC, when the leans would increase, the belly pan would start scraping. Now that should not be as much of a problem on this RC, because the underbelly exhaust now has given way to a side mounted, which has allowed KTM to change the design of the belly pan, make it a little bit shorter. So not once did I scrape the belly pan riding here on the racetrack. The new design is definitely working and has given you more cornering clearance. Sure, the new exhaust doesn't help with mass centralization as much as the old one, and it is heavier. But to be honest, it's very difficult to notice any big changes in the handling dynamics of the bike unless you are riding the new RC back to back with the old one, because the new one is just as agile, is just as sure-footed in corners, always egging you to carry more and more speed into the corner. And that's exactly why you also have a slipper clutch now, just like the 2016 RC, which helps you take that much more speed into the corners. Which brings us to the next question about the slipper clutch. How does it work? Well, to put it simply, imagine this scenario. You're on the highway, you're riding in 5th gear, and you suddenly go down 3 gears. Now, as soon as you let go of the clutch, you'll notice that the engine RPMs rise, and there's a good chance that the rear wheel will lock and start hopping. That's because at this point of time, the rear wheel is spinning much faster than the engine for that particular gear. And this is exactly where the slipper clutch helps, because it allows the clutch to slip until the engine and the rear wheel are spinning at the appropriate speed for that gear, thereby preventing it from locking or hopping at corner entry. And with the bike being a lot stable at corner entry, it obviously boosts your confidence, gives you a little more time to carry that much more speed into the corners. Does it work? Absolutely, because the bike was stable even under aggressive downshifts. Another big factor which boosts your confidence in corners is obviously the tires. And with the RC, you have the Metzeler's watching your back. But the new RC comes with Metzeler's with a lower speed rating. And so I was curious to see how they perform. And the biggest difference I felt was when you're carrying a lot of lean in the corners. The old tires with the higher speed rating, you could get away by getting on the gas a little bit sooner and harder. With this one, the new tires, you have to be a little more cautious, because if you get on the gas that much sooner and harder, even when the bike is in lean, the bike tends to move around a fair bit. So that's something which you definitely need to watch out for. What I did not expect though were the strides that KTM have made in terms of improving the braking performance on the RC. I was anything but happy with the braking performance on the old RC because it lacked the outright stopping power, the feel, the feedback and the initial bite. And also after quite a few hard laps, the lever would start coming all the way in, which was very scary. No longer the case with the new RC because you have really good amount of stopping power and initial bite even with the ABS on. I did not even switch it off even though I was riding here on the track, and that's saying something. Although I feel that there's still some room for improvement in the feel department because I feel the feedback can be a little bit better. And while we are at it, I would have also loved the new RC came with the bubble screen which we have seen on the RC Cup bikes because it makes it that much easier for big guys like me to duck in properly. From an everyday point of view, the things which you'll appreciate are the wider mirrors because they give you a lot better view of the world which you're leaving behind. I love the adjustable levers, especially the brake lever because I could bring it in. My hand is still broken, so it allowed me to brake as I wanted to while still not putting as much stress on the hand, which was great. The seat has more cushion, so it's a little more comfortable now. So just like on the 2016 RC, this one also gets engine shrouds, which diverts hot air from the engine away from the rider's leg onto the ground. And also as the fueling has improved, I also felt the vibrations were noticeably less. But then again, we are on a racetrack, not the best place to test out these updates. That will happen on the road, which will give us a better idea to see how well they really work. The other updates include updates to the instrument cluster. It tells you more information like real-time fuel economy, and the bike also cranks up at the first touch of the starter button. You no longer have to hold on to it, which I think is pretty damn cool. And the last part is obviously the exhaust note. A lot of you wanted to know if it sounds any different. It does, in a way that it's definitely quieter at idle now because the new Euro 4 exhaust also meant that the bike should meet the sound restrictions in Europe, which it does. But at full whack, it definitely sounds a lot more throatier. It has a little more grunt to it. And I think it sounds much better than the previous bike. So that's the download from the racetrack on the 2017 RC390. As I mentioned, there's another performance video in the works. So if I were you, I would turn on those notifications because that would also make you a part of our special notification squad. Until then, ciao.